Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing. You know, I've been really frustrated lately, just like seriously frustrated. I cannot pass this one level and crash. I keep dying. Mountain Goats, Goths. The way I heard about this band was actually when I was in college, when I had roommates. One of my roommates listened to these guys all the time and like non-stop told me how great they were, and I listened to them, like the album Beat the Champ, and I was pretty impressed, and I was still kind of unsure if I did like them because the style was so new to me, but I'm actually really thankful for his input on that, because I really am glad I listened to this album. And really, this is the first full-length album I've listened to this band, and it makes me very curious how the other albums sound like, you know? So this album has a really hard focus on the goth culture and its fixture on that. It definitely plays with a lot of references to that, including like bands like the Banshees and some songs even in there too, in some of the wordplay in this album. And I thought that was really cool because goth culture is pretty interesting and rad in my opinion, especially people that did it, and people still do it. I don't know, I don't see it that often anymore. But is this album really gothic? There's, a yes and a no to that, but really I don't see it as a goth record at all. I mean, I think they intended it to be kind of a funky twist on the genre, maybe, of like the gothic style of music. The album has this really incredible opener, Rain in Soho, which definitely brings this really dark piano into the mix, and it stands out really nice. And you also get these great drums in there that hit hard, and you're just ready for what you're about to hear. And I also really love like the background vocals to this song going, no, 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 no. I don't know, it just adds a layer of really liking this song and its dark elements. The lead singer, John Darnell, I'm pretty sure that's how you say his last name, really brings a dramatic presence to this song. And then the rest of the album is strangely more relaxing than this song, and it's kind of off-putting a little bit. There's definitely a lot going on in this album, but I really do think that it's very interesting, and I was definitely intrigued from the get-go, even though the first song doesn't really show you what this album's gonna be. The funny thing is, I guess every song usually of the Mountain Goats features an acoustic or electric guitar, and this album, absolutely none of that. And that's like a total risk for a band that's known for that style, and they totally just went, nope, let's not do it on this album, even with the style that they went for, which honestly, the bass guitar in this album is absolutely phenomenal, how it plays out, and the percussion, and all the different arranges of instruments in this that kind of make it sound like a jazz album at points, to me at least. I also really like the use of synthesizers through this album. You can't really notice it that much, but when it's in there, it's done to a perfect degree. With the album really starting off with Andrew Eldrith is moving back, really kicks off the album, what it's going to essentially feel like for the rest of the album. And this is a great song. It's very playful, quirky, just like the rest of this album is very quirky, and it has some really realism lyrics to it. I don't know how to explain his lyrical style, but it's definitely different. I feel like his writing is a character in this album, and it definitely shows with all of his knowledge on goth culture. I just love all the songwriting in this album and how it plays out, especially like songs like Paid in Cocaine, which sounds like a jazz song, and it's just kind of funny to me. One of my favorite lyrics off this album comes from the song The Grey King and the Silver Flame. I'm pretty sure that's the name of the song. And the lyric goes, I'm hardcore, but not that hardcore. And he says it really quietly and soft, and it's just kind of funny, and it brings a smile to my face. It's very natural sounding, like that's how he's talking about himself. Something about that just makes that just that much better, Now, I got the deluxe version of this album, and the last few tracks are bonus tracks, of course, and I don't know, they were just kind of instrumentals, and they were decent at best. I don't know, I didn't find them that interesting as the rest of the album, and this album doesn't really build up to anything at all. It's just very smooth sounding. It's not rough around the edges at any point, but I don't think that was the point of this album, even with the title. So what you get with this album is a really smooth sounding, bass driven and percussion driven album here, and honestly, it's super good. I love this album. It is fantastic, and I could see why people are praising it, or why they're praising it if they are, and I definitely recommend you listen to it, at least a song or two off the album. Even if Rain in Soho doesn't really tell you what the album is, definitely check that song out. That's probably my favorite song in the album, but all the rest of the songs are absolutely just great. They are good. I would say the bonus tracks, you can skip those and be fine, but they make good instrumental pieces, but you know, that's just my thought. I definitely give this a 5 out of 5. I recommend it. I highly recommend it. I think this is different. I think people will definitely at least appreciate this album and understand what it is. And it's just a fun album to listen to. It's very smooth. I could definitely see this being played at like some fancy party, weirdly enough. Anyways, those are my thoughts on Mountain Goats Goths, and I hope you enjoyed this video. There's a link to my King Gizzard album right somewhere on my screen, and you can subscribe too if you want, if you enjoyed this video, which I hope you did. I mean, I feel like I'm not going into too much detail lately because I'm just trying to keep up the pace here because I'm so behind. There's still like so many albums I want to review, and I want to review old ones too, and it's just it gets all over the place. But anyways, I hope you have a great day, and peace.